To be or not to be must have been the question my next guest was asking herself after she auditioned for a part in one of Shakespeare's most famous plays. Luckily for her, she got the part, and now Emsworth's Stephanie Dickson is going to be heading to Verona to play the infamous Juliet. Thanks so much for coming in, Stephanie. So just first of all, tell us, you must have been so nervous going to that audition. What was it like?
Yeah, no, it was so intense. It was one of my first auditions since just graduating from drama school. And I went down to the King's Theatre, and it was really crazy because I got to go round the back for the stage door, and obviously where I grew up in Emsworth, I've been to the King's Theatre a lot. So I've been the other way. So to be at the backstage part and just to be on the stage and doing the audition was completely insane.
And what did you do for your audition?
I had to do a monologue, a Shakespearean monologue, and I did a piece from Two Noble Kinsmen. And then in the afternoon session, we had to do a scene from Romeo and Juliet with a partner. So with a Romeo, potential Romeo.
And so what did it feel like when they told you that you kind of got it?
I got the news a couple of days later. I was actually back at Guildford School of Acting, and I was in a class, and I got a phone call, and I recognised the number, and I knew that it was from the Kings, and I ran out of the class.
Oh my gosh.
I took the phone call, and then I came back in, and I just sort of sat down, and everyone was looking at me, and I was like, yeah, I got the part. Yeah, so it was a really great moment, really exciting.
And so I was just asking you, and just before we came on air, you know, whether you'd started rehearsals, and you said you hadn't. So what's going on?
Yeah, I leave for Verona in 2 weeks, and then we do a week's worth of rehearsals over in Verona, and then we start doing the shows up until September. So 3 months worth of shows.
That's a lot of shows with only a very short amount of rehearsals.
Yes, it is.
How are you kind of preparing yourself for it?
Just at the moment, I'm just sort of going through all of my notes on the character, on the play. It's such a famous play anyway, so a lot of people know about it, which is good, which is an advantage for me. And I'm just sort of learning all the lines as I go, and just hopefully be prepared as possible.
How do you learn all those lines? What do you do?
To be honest, I just sort of beat myself up about it. I've got them in front of me constantly. I'm in the shower with them. Every time I'm cooking, I've got them in front of me, just constantly going through it, getting people to help me as well. So just all the time.
Wow, it must take up a lot of time. And you're saying that obviously Romeo and Juliet, you know, one of Shakespeare's most famous plays. Does that like you've got an added pressure on your shoulders when you're playing those characters, Juliet? Yeah,
especially because it's been done so famously, and it's being done at the moment as well, which, you know, there's a lot of pressure in that respect. But the fact that we're doing it in Verona, it's Juliet's balcony that we're performing on, and we're doing it in her courtyard and things like that. So I think with that sort of atmosphere, it'll be a lot easier to sort of forget about that and just get really lost in it. I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, it must be, really intense knowing that there's so many famous actors and actresses that have played in Romeo and Juliet before. How do you deal with your nerves when you're kind of going onto stage?
To be honest, I don't think you'll ever fully get rid of those nerves. I think they're good because they really drive you to do it. But I think it's a case of just relying on all the work that you've done and just really focusing on the part and your interpretation of it, and just sort of hoping that people like it.
And what is your kind of take on it?
I think my personal take on it is that Juliet's seen as quite girly and innocent a lot of the time, which of course she is. But also there's a real rebellious sort of teenage side to her. She goes against her parents' wishes. You know, she just gets married in a day and she dies after that. Like, it's really dramatic. It's all full on. And so I'm going to go with that sort of teenage rebellion sort of feel to it, and sort of hopefully.
And how does it make you feel knowing, obviously, only a few hundred years ago, girls younger than you would be kind of being married off already? Juliet's, you know, probably about 4 or 5 years younger than you are right now. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, no, that's I think it's an important message to sort of get across. I don't think many people sort of register how young she is. You know, obviously everyone knows the story of Romeo and Juliet and the love story between them, but I don't think a lot of people register they were only 13 and 14. It's so young, and I think it's quite important to just sort of have that, especially at the moment with all the things going on about sort of female rights and things like that. I think it's quite important to just sort of show, even though we probably have a long way to go in issues like that, there is still a long way that we've already gone. So it's quite nice to sort of get that message out there as well, I think, for young girls.
And of course, it's kind of in conjunction with the King's Theatre that you're all going to Verona to play it there, but then you're coming back to the UK with the show, is that right?
Yeah, it's not been confirmed yet what we're doing afterwards. Yeah, no, only because we're just not 100% sure what we're doing with dates and things like that. But as soon as we know, like, all the information will be released. So I'm excited. Hopefully we do get to come back to the King's.
And have you met the gentleman playing Romeo?
I've not met him yet, but I do know of him, and I know I've met him through. I kind of know him through friends and through previous auditions that we've sort of attended and things like that. So he knows one of the other actors that's coming out with us as well. And so from what I hear, he's a lovely guy. So I'm really excited to work with him.
And do you have a kind of Romeo of your own, or are you kind of more of a single lady? What's going on there?
I do currently have a Romeo of my own, yes.
He'll miss you then when you're in Italy, no?
Well, I should hope so. Maybe we'll come out and visit. We'll see.
Oh, maybe he'll find a way to do that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Stephanie, thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and best of luck in Verona.
It's been lovely to meet you. Thank you.